Anyway,
It was subconscious.
Casino Guitars, we're back here in the saddles one more time for your viewing torture. If you like these things, click like, subscribe.
And the bell.
I just want to see if you say it. I like when you say it. It's so nice when you say it.
They probably think that we had planned that because we do it the same way every time.
But
we don't plan anything.
We plan all of this.
Nothing.
Kind of
Totally
like
unscripted.
the major guitar resellers and shops are planning their purchases and retracting some of their major purchase orders in the sums of tens to 20s of millions of dollars sometimes.
That sounds serious. Pretty serious.
It's not that serious when you look at the overall scheme of what they buy.
Okay.
So, but it seems serious to us. That would be, it'd be a pretty high percentage, like a 1% or something.
Like my weekly stipend.
Yeah, I mean something like that. your $2 million stipend.
Yeah.
That's your expense account per annum, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Not counting salary and corporate bonuses.
No.
Sorry, working in a guitar shop. I'm kidding. We get free strings every once in a while.
That's true.
No, it's
that we change ourselves. Sadly.
No. So the market has been on fire for the past 2 years.
It has.
Ever since COVID sort of hit, there was this 1 month where everyone's like, okay, all the jobs are gone. Then there's like, all of a sudden the fire lit and the engine blew up.
Yes.
And sales have not slowed up or stopped at all until now.
Right.
There's a slight easing of what we're seeing in that sort of mid-tier range. In the mid-tier, we're quantifying as what is considered the mid-tier in the guitar world, unfortunately, which I think is still quite high, but anywhere from like $800 to that $1,200 to $1,500 range, but really sitting at $1,000.
We're talking like player plus, Ventera, territory.
All the way sort of
for Fender.
Sub-American Pro for Fender, and sort of living in that same world for Gibson and in the same world for, Taylor Guitars.
Everything, yeah.
Martin. Martin has been hitting that hard too, I think, too. Their high tier stuff is selling hand over fist.
Yep.
But that sort of lower mid tier is definitely retracting a bit now.
Right.
There's multiple reasons for this. Obviously, the free money is ending. There's still a huge labor shortage in the service industry and the restaurants, but this is probably going to change most likely soon too. But the jobs won't be there maybe because the economy is tightening a bit again.
Yeah.
Inflation is rising. Fuel costs are thumbs up. No.
I'm glad we decided to make a feel-good video today.
No.
Everything's right with the world.
But it's funny. It's something we have to watch. I find watching these economic trends fascinating.
It is fascinating.
It's a time you can make a lot of money right now too if you know how to invest. Like when things just like bam, they're crashing a little bit. Hold off a bit on those stocks maybe, but there's going to be a time to jump back in. Now's not it. People are going to be making millions here or making dollars and hundreds of dollars like we might do.
Dozens of dollars.
My investments here, my investment portfolio, dozens.
I got dozens of dollars laid aside to invest.
This will affect the... Well, no, because we see it too from we're starting to see it from our manufacturers.
Right.
There's been no inventory available for years. It's like we've ordered stuff, then we wait. We have like American originals from Fender on order still that we ordered probably close to 2 years ago. It's in that sort of range. And that's not even a piece that's offered anymore. It's been discontinued.
Right.
That's the funny part. That's why I mentioned that.
Yeah.
I still have Johnny Marr Jaguars on order that I ordered 2 years ago.
Yep.
And there's a new one getting ready to be announced, I think.
Maybe we'll finally get the old one.
I've seen the leaks from some of the online guitar sites that Johnny Marr's playing one. He's like, more things to come on this one. I'm Paul McCartney. Sorry, that's my Liverpool voice right there. Got excited. He's not from there, I don't think. He's got a great voice. I love Johnny Marr. Anyway, it's another story. But no, it's definitely we're seeing that mid tier. I've talked to all the manufacturers too, and it's that's a confirmation. Things have slowed up a bit there. The pedal's off the accelerator.
Well, it's funny because things are slowing up there, right? But production is sort of catching up there.
And that's the problem for them.
So those guitars are suddenly available, but there's also less demand for them, and that's the big crux of...
Yeah, and so what happens with that, the shops will take what they can, and so part of the thought was if these major sellers, the resellers, like the biggest guitar sellers in the country, are holding back on some of that, this will be freed up to the smaller shops.
Right.
Well, yes, but you probably already have those things on order. You might be able to pick up a few more pieces.
Yeah.
But you might not want them. You already have you have a queue of things coming, and then you have financial obligations to so many manufacturers. It's tiny. You might not want that, but it might end up on their own websites.
The direct, the rest. That's true. Right, to buy it direct from Fender or Gibson or.
Dare we say, would any sales be coming up?
I would think that would probably lean that way.
I still don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
It's
okay.
coming.
I would agree with that.
It's coming.
Right.
Let's wait for this grind to happen a bit more, a few more months of like their production starts to. It's really just pushing stuff out, and they have all these pieces. They have nowhere to send them, maybe. But I think people will still be taking them for the short term, at least.
Yeah.
And then they might be adjusting their production schedule accordingly.
Oh, well, hopefully, right? That would be the smart thing.
Well, they have to, because all these manufacturers have a new release cycle coming up next month.
Yep.
Like there's sort of June and July is usually the time when like we're going to start seeing what the new product cycle is going to be for these major manufacturers from Fender and Taylor and Martin and Gretsch and all those things. And Gibson coming down the next few for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So there'll be a few new releases coming out soon. We'll know in what's the date? The 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th,
Somewhere
14th?
in that neighborhood. Yeah. The 11th. That we're shooting this video. Who knows when you'll see this video?
We'll know in 1 month.
There you go.
From now, like what's coming from these major bosses.
That's right. Because that's
Another summer.
the crazy NAMM schedule.
Well, but a lot of the majors aren't going to NAMM anymore either.
This year might be the no NAMM.
But then,
Probably.
so jumping ship entirely, not really, but connecting the dots, I'm just going to leave my head on you for a minute, would be financing. We've all come to know and love the 138-month financing 0% interest at Sweetwater and the 2.5.68 mega years of financing that we can get it everywhere from Affirm is the major one.
Right.
There's lots of other ones, Synchrony as well.
Those are the big ones, yeah.
But there's going to be some changes on these, and probably not the long ones as much.
I think we're already starting to see less long ones. For a while, it seemed like I was seeing 48 months all the time. Now it's like, maybe 36 and some things, a lot more 24. And I wonder if even maybe 12 is going to start to be the norm.
And the way financing works for shops in the retail world, for like us, and then we'll take it on to like the bigger tier guys. But for us in particular, when we offer financing, which we do through Synchrony and some other outlets, you can finance for 12 months, you can finance for 24 months, 36, 48. The longer the months, the higher the interest rate percentage charged to the shop.
That's right.
So we have to factor in, is it worth us financing this for X amount of months to give away this much of the margin spread?
I was going to say it eats the margin for us, right?
It can eat, if you're doing like a high one, it eats
quite a bit.
A lot of the margin up. Yeah. I'm not saying like a small like 1 to 2 to 3 or 4 or 5, 6%. Just keep going, double that, triple it sometimes. It can be crazy. It's like selling on Amazon, like a 15% hit.
Yeah.
Off the bat, not including your shipping hits, not including your housing hits, and
you can eat up the margin, which there's not much of anyways.
There's not in the guitar game.
Instruments, so
There's more so like in accessories.
Yes.
That's where we've talked about strings and some of those
but
things.
But not so much on like actual guitars.
And the forgery strings that live on the internet. Ooh, that's a weird one. Find our video on that. It's fascinating, I think.
It's kind of fascinating.
No, but the financing is tricky now. When you get into people like Sweetwater, the huge ones, they obviously have great rates negotiated with these financing outfits because they're doing so much of it through financing. A high percentage of their sales are done through financing.
Just the volume of, and I mean, I think that is the thing that draws a lot of people to that, right? When you see this thing you want that you can spread out paying for it over 36 months and you're not paying any extra money. Yeah.
And it's free money if it's 0% interest. So where your other money can be working capital you're making towards something. It's not just something for people that can't afford it and want to pay it off over time. Very, very wealthy people finance guitars through Sweetwater Guitar Center, Musician's Friend, Casino Guitars, Wildwood, Music Villa, all those places.
I mean, I have a Sweetwater card.
Our shirts are better than...
For that reason. That is true.
Our shirts are better than Music Villa shirts.
That is true.
Take that, Paul.
Ouch.
Just want to throw that...
The truth hurts sometimes.
I'm just kidding. We have a friend of ours that wears our shirts to each other's stores when he goes. So he's a great friend of the shop. I love him. He takes a Casino Guitar shirt wherever he goes. He's a worker. He travels a lot for work, and he always wears it when he goes into guitar shops. And just to see if he like anybody knows and he makes friends because the head of Musicville is a good friend of ours, Paul, and I mean their shirts aren't nearly as good as ours, but it's okay, and the fabric's all itchy and makes your nipples break out and get swollen.
We've all been there.
So if you're into that, it might be the shirt to buy.
What are the Gildan shirts?
I'm kidding. They actually have really soft shirts. It's kind of like wearing like just like a silk of sheet over your underlings.
We have a lot of discussions about t-shirt quality here.
We used to have terrible t-shirts.
Well, I was going to say we made a mistake early on.
It wasn't a mistake. It was just saving money.
Well,
Thrifty. Hey, the guy who's paying the bills back there behind the curtain, he has to watch those. It's like the man in Oz, ding, 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 ding. Wizard of Oz. It's like trying to play pedal steel guitar.
Occasionally I go in the morning and I accidentally grab one of those old casino shirts, and as soon as I touch it, I'm like recoil.
Well, that's my that's my work shirt. Like if I'm painting or something, like I don't give a whatever. But if I'm tarring the horses, the bellies, the horse bellies, you know. Or if you bet on number 21, like my son did at the Kentucky Derby, my 5-year-old son, who is now an avid gambler, I think it was like 50 to 1 odds. That dude came in screaming. I mean, that kid's not a shock. We're watching him. He's going, go 21. Getting 21 wins, he loses his mind. It was awesome.
So he really bet on him?
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. He won like a bunch of money.
Shoot,
it's great. Like I had nobody else. We had a Kentucky Derby party. We all were betting, and like he's like 21. He liked the number, the name.
You're like, that's cute.
I mean, I did the same thing. I just pick on names, and I want really bad odds so I can maybe win a lot.
So if some crazy like that happens.
Yeah, they won some. He won some money. It was funny. I think if you invested $2, you won $138 back.
That's ridiculous.
I'm just gonna say he invested more than $2.
Invested
$3. Maybe. But still, it's pretty impressive. I mean, that's it. He's the only one that did it in our whole party. It was a party of 12, at least, maybe 15. I don't know who was there at this Kentucky Derby party. I'm drinking. Kids too.
All the kids are drinking whiskey.
My wife's from Kentucky. That's what they do.
That's what they do.
We should have
kids
KFC.
sipping whiskey.
It is. That's what they do. Give like bourbon, whiskey. I was gonna kick you in the groin. The whole other thing.
Whatever.
What were we talking about?
Interest rates.
I know. I get so confused.
And gambling on horses.
It's all the same thing. Because I mean, it is funny because like I invest for savings and stuff like the stock market and all that stuff. It's like it is legalized gambling.
Pretty much.
It is legalized gambling. Yeah. Stockbrokers are like no. I'm sorry. Investment advisors, that like lame pacified term you guys all use now, instead of stockbrokers. If you're a stockbroker and investment advisor and you're watching this, reclaim the title stockbroker. It's a Gordon Gekko. Like, greed is good. Just ride that pony all the way to the end. Ride it all the way in there. It's cool, man. It's like you got Daryl Hannah as your girl in the back. You guys are doing all sorts of terrible things in the back of that Ferrari. There's no back of a Ferrari. That's the fun of this joke. But have some fun. And if you do need a financial advisor, speaking of that, Chris Collins at Edward Jones. He's the guy. He's the guy I always send people to. If you haven't met him yet, he's not only stunningly attractive, and has just a wonderful sense of hunting and kindness. He's a good investor. One day I hope he'll take me on as a client, maybe.
Probably not.
I'm a problematic client.
I can see that.
Because I'm just like, just roll with the dice, put it all.
Just do it.
Put it all there. On turbo fried chicken. Is it what? Just do it. I feel my pony's coming in on this one. Augustus, my son, said so.
Question me.
Oh, Lord help us. Derek's like just in misery right now. He's like editing. He's like, I hate these guys so much.
I just hope we've all sold all our Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not doing so good.
It's not doing so good right now, is it?
Good.
Isn't that weird?
It's
so watch if you're looking to finance something, I'd say do it nowish. If you're on the fence about it, and I'm not saying do it through us. Do it through one of these shops that you're looking at. Like if there's something you want, like a Players Series or something, like go finance it at Sweetwater. Go finance it at one of your places. Wildwood Guitars has great financing and it's easy. Music Villa does quite well too.
There you go.
I just know the guys at Wildwood, they're like pretty much like accountants with like tattoos. Those guys, awesome. They know the books. It's frustrating. It's like they got the little hats with like the thing in it, like you see them, like the thing rolled up with like I don't know. It's awesome. It's just awesome. They don't, but that's what I imagine. I should not have done all that coffee this morning. I didn't do any coffee.
Little known fact. Baxter's never drunk coffee.
That is true. I've never had a cup of coffee in my entire life.
I don't even know how it's possible.
I'm already pretty hyper.
You are.
Can you imagine me on coffee? Can you imagine my poor mother trying to raise this? She tells me stories when she was like, well, sometimes when you were young, I just lock you in your room for a couple hours because, boys need their alone time. So that's pretty much, I feel like it almost developed my sense of being able to play by myself and with myself well. And
I'm just going to leave it right there.
I remember listening to Neil Diamond's Flight of the Bumblebee on my little record player. I had this white record player with a black top, like over and over. Like it's like and Forever in Blue Jeans. That was my jam. I love that song. Money talks, it don't sing and dance. By myself in my room, playing with my little figures.
Your little figures.
My little action figures and my dolls that I had too. Yes, that's a long story. Girl baby and boy baby. If you know me, you can ask me about that later. God help me.
It only gets more disturbing.
Don't ask me about Betsy
there's an
from the roof.
explanation. No.
Oh God, maybe my childhood wasn't normal. Interesting.
But hey,
I've never thought,
it brought us here.
You never think of your childhood as being abnormal, but maybe.
Yeah, you don't, right? Until you hit a certain spot and you.
Yours certainly was weird. So
Mine was. I had some. Yeah, I know. I'm aware. I realized pretty quickly when I went to the outside world. I was like, oh yeah.
I feel like Jonathan watched the movie Stand By Me and he's like, God, what a bunch of pussies. Excuse my French. I mean, that's the word you would have said back in the time when you saw that.
Yes.
Because that was like Jonathan's that was his average weekday. Yeah, you want to see a dead body? Yeah, man. Is it Uncle Bob? Yeah, no, he's just drunk. Thanks for watching.
Totally fine.
Watch that financing.